Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon. So my question is, I know this is the last quarter of the year, and one of the things, most of my business in past years has come from sphere of influence and referrals, but now I'm really trying to get into lead generation so that I can have multiple lead pillars. And so I wanted
Okay.
to find out where do you think I should focus on, like Facebook leads, Google leads, or
Okay. What do you like to do?
um that's a good question. Well, I do, even though sometimes I mean, I do like um social media, even though I'm not as active as I should be on it. So one of the things that I was thinking about doing is starting to do more videos and more content as a
Okay.
way to attract more business. But I don't, but that takes a lot of time and effort. And so I don't know if that's the best use of my time.
Okay. Depends on if you enjoy it or not. So
Okay.
here's the thing about lead generation. There are so many different places that we can get leads from, and we can go through a good handful plus of areas that you can get leads from. But we have to do it with energy and excitement. It has to be something that we love to do because there was a little hesitation like, I should be on social media. So then maybe I should be doing videos. Um, we're not going to show up with the energy that we need to really be amazing at that if we're just trying to tell ourselves this is the way that we're going to get business. So I should be doing it, if that makes sense. So
It
anytime we're
does.
talking about lead gen, so for me, social media, it's okay. It's not my favorite place to spend time. I found a way that works for me to be able to be present on social media that doesn't take as much of my time. Um, you have to enjoy it. I don't enjoy turning the camera on myself every day and nobody wants to know what I eat for lunch or how jacked up my life is sometimes. Nobody needs to know, right? So it just depends on what you enjoy doing. So if you want to do social media, I will give you some tips on that, which is the purpose of social media is for people to understand what you do for a job. That is our number one reason that we have social media. Okay. So when you are going to execute that, then to execute it with excellence means what can you do to provide education and value and show your authority, right? And what you do for a job through social media. Just a different way to look at it a little bit. Go ahead.
Right. No, and that makes absolute sense. And I do, well, I do, and well, I'm not gonna say I enjoy, but I don't. Well, I mean, I guess I enjoy creating content. It's just the editing and all the other stuff that kind of goes into it. And
Okay.
then, and one of the things, I mean, I've been an agent for a while now, and one of the things that kind of sticks out to me, or what I hear in my head, like why I should be on social media. In addition to, I mean, I don't mind doing videos, but
Mhm.
just the fact that I don't want to be a secret agent, and also what you just said, like I want to be able to share my expertise, and I want to be able to provide, value to other people,
Yeah.
and
So
knowledge about the real estate process, whether you're selling or buying a home.
perfect. So what are you currently doing on social media? What's your current rhythm?
Um, well, not a lot at this given moment, but I have done videos in the past, but I just haven't been consistently doing it now
Okay.
because I hear people in my ear saying, um, not that I hear people in my ear, but just that, right.
Yeah.
I guess over the last couple of months, I've just been kind of focused on, you know, trying to figure out where my next listing or where my next buyer is going to come from.
Yeah.
So I kind of
What are the
social
people in
media.
your ear telling you to do it a certain way?
I'm sorry.
What are the people in your ear? You started to say there are people in your ear
Well,
saying,
just in terms of, the whole mantra about I should be doing um revenue generating things. So that means
gotcha.
making telephone calls. It doesn't mean, and I actually enjoy creating graphics and, postcards and
Okay.
things like that for my
Okay.
listings, and just, Monday motivational quotes, this and that. But just I'm just
Mhm.
thinking about, is that a good use of my time?
Yeah. Okay. So our time should be spent, I say 50-50. Okay. So when we talk about social media, so this is our split here. And our social media is going to land over here in branding. And then this side is our high impact. And we need both. Okay. We've got to land in both categories. So this is your social. And the reason I say that that falls into branding is because that's where you said you don't want to be a secret agent, right? So we want people to know what we do for a living. We want to be out there. We want them to see us. So if they do need help, if it's that time in their life where they need to move, they can reach out to you. You are present. You are there. They see you. That's your social media. This is anything that has to do with like mailing or events. That's branding. And where agents tend to get frustrated is they say, I need listings now. And then they're going to go post on social media 50 times a day, not 50. I'm being overly dramatic, but they're going to go like hit it hard on social media so that they can be able to find a listing now. And that's not a high impact activity because it's more of like a needle in a haystack. And it works, but for me, and this is just gospel according to Lisa, I am not a patient person. So if I need money now, if I need jobs now, I go to high impact activities, which is direct calling to your for sale by owners. I'm going to, approach and hit your expired listings, which is a great thing. I'm bringing that up because those are both great things to do right now. That go back through my past database of my, let's say, HomeBot clients that are opening up their emails that may or may not be interested in listing right now. Back through my buyers that are on a search to see who's most actively opening their search, to see if they're interested in doing something right now, or to provide them with some more value and information to try to get them to take the next step. Those are all high impact. So your time needs to be spent on both during the week. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I do on social, I would call it cheating, is I hook my, what's it called? Rate My Agent. I hook Rate My Agent up to my social media, to my business page. So no matter what I'm doing in my life, it is automatically posting my reviews that come in, my listings, my solds, when something goes pending, that's automatically getting posted on my feeds, on my Instagram and my Facebook business pages. So that at least has me out there doing something, even if I don't spend as much time posting additional things. So depending on how busy you are, that's a good thing just by default to do. And then you can be able to add to it, but it's a good building block. Yeah. Does that
Those were
help?
all great tips. No, that really helped tremendously. And
Okay.
it's funny. Yeah, it really did, because it had me thinking, because I never thought about I'm glad you asked me the question, what do I like to do? And
Mm-hmm.
then that way I'm more, I guess, prone to do the things that I enjoy
Yeah.
versus just doing the things that I have to do. And nobody's ever really asked me that before. I don't know if I really thought about it, because I just do things that I think I need to do in order to generate
Yes.
business.
Yes. And what may be working or what worked for somebody else, or what
Exactly.
somebody else, when you said there's somebody in your ear, right? When other people are saying something, it's generally, oh, you need to be doing this, or you need to be doing YouTube. Oh, my daughter's calling me and it just went through my phone. Hold on. Child can't answer right now. I have it on focus, but she's an emergency contact. Sorry about that. And now that squirreled me. But yeah, we don't generally think about the things that we love to do or what lights our heart on fire. So then that's when we start to wake up and we try to go to work and we're trying to generate leads, but we don't have a lot of energy behind the thing that we're doing, which sounds a lot and feels a lot different and feels different to our clients. When we wake up, we have the energy, we make the phone calls, and those phone calls are like filled with excitement that we want to help this person, right? Or pitch ourselves or offer our help to somebody. It sounds a whole lot different and we're more likely to do it. But yeah,
Right.
don't ask me to do stuff I don't want to do either. I won't do it. Then we sit in the land of not doing anything. So awesome. That was a really good question. I'm going to tell you too, Sharon, if you've been in business for a while, go back and Well, I'll just give you one tip. If you don't do good follow-up with your past clients, I would suggest, and when I say good follow-up, I do have a specific way that I follow up with my past clients that is so efficient and so effective. Go get my follow-up playbook at agentleader.com. If you are not implementing, you can go read a little bit about it, but it's my 3-2-1-12 method. And it's so simple and it is so effective that literally I just got another message today from someone I sold a house to 4 years ago that I have not talked to since then. But my follow-up was so amazing that they always call me back and I don't have to chase
I
them. So
definitely need to do that. And
yours, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to take up too much time, but one of the other thing, just based on what you just mentioned, one of the things that, because I was looking at where has my past business come from over the past year or two, and I
yeah.
realized that I have been focusing on listing, but a lot of my clients were selling their house and moving out of the area.
Okay, but that's okay. So here's the thing. Get the follow-up playbook because in the follow-up playbook, I still market to everyone who has moved out of area. I've got
Oh,
clients in Florida. I've got clients in Oregon. I got clients in Arizona. I've got clients all over the place. Denver. They stay on my follow-up playbook. Like they always receive everything from me. And I've had clients that I hadn't talked to for 3-4 years decide to move back to the area. Or remember, everybody's connected on Facebook. So I
right.
don't categorize. The worst thing I've ever heard is when people teach that there are categories of clients and that we're like labeling our clients A, B, and C clients.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, who the freak is who's a C? Who didn't make the cut? Like, how are we categorizing our clients based on price? Like, oh, I don't know what that even means. Everyone is important to me. Every client's important. And the most money I've ever made has come off of some of the crappiest, cheapest deals I've ever done, where I've picked up, I mean, it's turned into multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in work. You don't categorize your clients. Everyone's worth something. They're all valuable. And so every client, even if they move out of the area, they have influence over the people that they know that are in area. So then when somebody in area says, I need a realtor, or I'm thinking about moving, you're going to be top of mind for them. And they're going to say, you need to call this person. Right. So everybody makes the cut, even if they move out of area.
Thank you
So
for
yeah,
that, Lisa. I
that's,
really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Yeah. That will change your life, change
I
your life.
know. I'm glad I jumped on this call. Thank
I
you
know.
so
I'm
much.
glad you did too. Welcome to Ask a Coach. You never know what you're going to hear today. All right. Thank you for your question. That was amazing. We covered a few different things there. Okay. Who's up? Who has a question?
I'm actually new to real estate. I had a career prior to this for 25 years and I just retired in June. So I've only had my license for less than a year and I'm actually doing really well. I'm on my 5th house being sold for a newbie. So super
Nice.
exciting. So I'm like, I came on, I don't want to say a little bit skeptical. That's not really the word, but I was trying to find a coach somewhere
Mhm.
Jersey affiliated because knows our rules, knows kind of, specific to us.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did. I think you're kind of my vibe. I appreciate you saying that everybody is like don't categorize people. It's not fair.
Mhm.
They're all individual, just like we're all like fingerprints. I was a cop for
Yeah.
25 years. So all of our clients are all like
Yeah.
fingerprints and they all require different things. There's no two alike. So with that said, I like the fact that you just said that because it's not fair to the ones that are the investors or the first time home buyer that you're holding their hand when they're 25 years old or a new couple with a baby and you're treating the investors different than them. There are differences, but I think you still need to, like you said, don't categorize. So I like
Yeah. Yeah, 1000%. I'll tell you the best thing I ever learned, which I've never categorized because I go in working with a heart of service. But I've literally had someone call me before and was turned down by 4 other realtors. This gal was turned down by 4 other realtors because they didn't sell something under $400,000 and her house was worth about 110. So they turned her away. And she literally looked me up on my Facebook, or not my Facebook, on my Zillow profile. And she saw that I was a mom. And she's like, and then she kind of stalked me just a little bit. And she's like, you looked approachable. So when she called me, she just called me off my profile. That's where I got the lead from. And I was like, why did you call me? She's like, because you looked like you'd understand. And all these people just shut me down. And I'm like, well, that's junk. Right. Because the thing is, her house may have been worth $110,000. She's an amazing person, has a family, has a life. My job is to serve the need that she has. My job is not just to make the paycheck, but if people wonder, how can I make $1 million a year selling houses? Because that is the mentality that I go in with. And when you come in with that heart of service and the skills, right? You got to have some skills, but when you come in with that mentality, then everybody's fair game for who I'm willing to help. And everyone's fair game for me to offer my help to them. And a lot of the times as realtors, we're not making the progress that we need to, or that maybe want to, right? If you're listening and you're on the call and you want to sell more houses, how often are we offering our help? And are we predetermining who we can help and who we can't help? A lot of times we're like, oh, there's that guy and he's got this $2 million house, but I've never sold one of those. So I don't know how to approach that person. Well, you approach the person like you're there to help them, right? And it makes a huge difference. So yeah. And for her, I mean, we've done 3 transactions and the person with the $100,000 house like buys up, right? That's the starter home. Then she buys up, then she sells that house and she buys up again. And you're wondering how you get to $3 million clients, or at least that's huge in our area, right? It's because you're buying up. My first $3 million house that I listed came from a disgusting, I call it the dead cat house, because it literally had dead cats, 5 dead cats in this nasty manufactured home that I was not thrilled to list, but I listed it. And the buyer I picked up from that house ended up helping me, or I helped them buy land for a subdivision. Like we picked up 4 different properties. He sent me 3 other referrals. And then we've got a subdivision of 120 houses. He connected me with his builder. So now they just called me the day. I got more houses that they want to build and sell. And then he had me list his personal residence of $3 million, all from one nasty cat house. So categorizing your clients is not a good method. I will go to my grave with that one. So it's a good. Well, welcome to the business and good job on your 5. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay. Who else has got a question? Alejandro, hello again.
Hello, Lisa.
How are you? We're
I'm
becoming
doing well.
friends now. I'm
Yes,
just
we
saying
are.
we're becoming
Yes, we
friends.
are. I
What you
don't
got?
have a question, just wanted to actually give you the follow-up on the FSBO
Good.
that we
Okay.
spoke. So essentially gave them some good information. We're expected to list it this week. So that was exciting.
Awesome.
I asked them the question, like you said, as far as like how many agents had came to speak to him. Very surprised. None. Nobody had came.
I
None
told
at
you.
all. None at all. It was.
Did they receive phone calls from agents?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did receive phone calls, nothing to even list it. It was more of some lowball offers, like I explained to the client. Unfortunately, in his area right now, there are 6 other listings, and it is again one of those cookie cutter areas. So his property, as far as what he wanted to list it for, was a very good price. He could get probably a little bit more. But yeah, like I explained to him, it was a lot of the marketing and the information. So it's definitely the path I'm taking now, going and driving around and trying to see some more of those FSBO signs around there. So I can definitely just bring them the information and be able to continue to grow in that way.
Oh, I am so proud of you. Are you so proud of yourself?
Yes. Thank you.
That is
Thank you.
freaking
Yes.
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And the difference maker, right? Even if other people called, nobody offered any value to the person that needed help.
None.
Like, none. I know. So when people literally will tell me, oh, I tried to call 3 for sale by owners and they didn't answer the phone. I'm like, great, call 15 more. Like, why? Or run a Facebook ad and see if somebody will click on it. Like, no, if you want to make money now, make the phone call, do the research, and provide some value to somebody. Like, why do we resist that is what I don't always understand. Why is that so resistant?
For me, one of
go ahead.
The biggest things was the in-person. You see, a lot of times we do the call, the actual part of asking him, can I come and, tour the home and actually meet him in person and go that extra step, I think definitely made me feel a lot more confident than just speaking randomly over the phone and being able to physically show him, the information, what
Yes.
was in the market, what had sold in the last, month.
Yeah. So what was the biggest change you made? Because you had tried to call for sale by owners before. Is that true?
Yes, and a lot of where I live at, it was just hangups, or do you
Mm-hmm.
have a buyer? You know, very
Mm-hmm.
abrupt conversations. This one, just tackling it from a different view or a different, aspect of it, and just actually just going through the questions and then asking him to come and tour the property.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I would have just been on the phone and asked them and then try to go based off of that. And just coming to the property and, showing my face and getting that interaction. I think the
Yeah.
connection was a lot quicker. I think by the third question or the third bit of information that I was giving him, he was asking me essentially what we needed to do to list the property.
Yeah. That's so
So,
awesome. Yeah.
yes.
That's so awesome. That is so
So
awesome.
thank
Well,
you.
good
Thank you
job.
for your info.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for coming back and giving us the feedback. I almost
Yes,
forgot.
yes.
So that is so cool. That is so cool. And yeah, just rinse and repeat, man. Once you figure out how to do it, that those same skills that you're just talking about there, that same type of skill is what you apply to buyers. So the other thing that's a really great way to get leads, which I had a lot of questions this week about where do we get leads from? When I always say open houses, and people will say, I done open houses, and people just come through and I get their contact information written on a piece of paper, and they register to come walk through or whatever. But I don't convert anybody. I'm like, great. What kinds of conversations are you having with people when they're walking through the house? What kind of relationship are you starting to build? How curious are you about what's going on in their life in order to best help them? Right? What are you offering? But for some reason, we love to, when we talk about people talk about being a secret agent, right? But we love to be an agent. It's like we have some banner on us that says I'm an agent. And then people are supposed to randomly gravitate toward us. Like you always hear, my neighbor listed their house with somebody else and I'm so angry. Why wouldn't they call me? And I'm like, why would they call you? Because your name's on your car or because you have a tag on your shirt? Like what? Give them a reason. Give them a reason. So when you do open houses and you're going to talk to buyers, give them a reason that they would want to not work with somebody else. Give them a reason that you hold the keys to the kingdom, right? So that you're the one that can help them and you're the best one that can help them. That type of confidence in the way that you approach people, that's literally all I do. It's like, you're going to come through an open house. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you at the grocery store. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to or where I'm talking to them. It's like, I'm the best one that can help you. And here's the reasons why. And I don't necessarily say I'm the best one right out the gate, but I give them all the things I can do for them that I do for my clients, and how their experience with my client's experience is so much greater than anybody else. Are we afraid to say that? Good question, right? I'd throw that one in the chat. Are you afraid to say that? And if you are, I would ask why. Why are we not pitching ourselves that way to other people? Because we think we're just selling a house. It's totally different, right?
So just to piggyback off of that, Lisa, I just have a question for being, so new. I have the gift of the gab. I can talk to anybody, anywhere.
Good.
That's, my norm. And like you said, in the grocery store, I talk to everybody, kids, adults, doesn't matter. My question is, what's the hurdle that I tend to come over? And I have a few little things that I do say, but because I'm so new, how do I have the confidence of the baggage of my age? So I'm not, new to life. I'm just new to real estate paperwork. And again, my husband and I own 4 houses. I'm not new to the real estate field, but just new to the real estate paperwork. And when I say that to people, I don't say those words, but I've only been doing this for 9 months. What are some of the talking tips to show your confidence without not having the time and grade? Like I'm still a rookie, if you will.
Right.
So
okay.
not having the time and grade. What do you say?
Are they asking you how long you've had your license?
Yes.
They're asking you Yep.
Yes, they're
Okay.
saying so, and I don't want to lie, and it's the answer is
No,
under a
that's
year.
good.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so and then my next thing is, but this is what I've done. And then it sounds to be, and then I feel like it sounds a little bit conceited and a little bit forward because I'm trying to make up for the
Okay.
small tenure that I have.
Okay. So that's the problem right there. You feel like you have to make up for it.
Right.
Can you be freaking amazing even though you've had your license for a first year?
Sure, I could.
Do you have the skills? Do you have the drive?
I have the drive, 100% drive. Do I have the skills to sell real estate? 100%. The problem is the paperwork, and that's what I kind of touched on initially from a New Jersey base.
Okay.
The paperwork isn't there.
Why is the
And
paperwork not there?
I just don't, I think there's so much involved, and because there's no two situations that are the same, I think the bar keeps on changing. So if I had a rule book and I said, this is the rule book, that would be fine. But then you go on to the next scenario and I'm like, oh, right. So I did that with this one. Well, the rule book now changes. Well, give me that rule book.
Yeah,
And
there's not a rule
never
book.
is one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
this is
that's
why
kind of weird to me.
ADHD people love, this is why, and I mean, this is why we love real estate, because there's not a rule book. There's laws that keep you out of jail. There's laws that keep you from getting sued, right? But there is not a rule book that says, okay, here's this funky property, and now what are we supposed to do with it? Here's this crazy client, and now what are we supposed to do with it? So you're looking for confidence in your paperwork.
Yes.
And if you don't have confidence in your paperwork, that's making you feel like you need to make up for something,
100%.
right? Or justify why you're good at what you do.
Yes.
Okay. Confidence comes in two different ways. Okay. We can have confidence in self, and we can have confidence in our experiences that we've had so far. So you're building confidence in your paperwork. Okay. Confidence in self looks more like, I know I'm amazing and I can figure it out. That's what confidence in self is. Okay. So you're at the point right now where, like, for me, I've done this 700 plus transactions. I can do a contract in my sleep. It's actually boring now because I can do it in my sleep. But when I started, it was not boring. I had to have confidence that I could figure it out.
Yes. And I feel like
that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all I 100%. I have the confidence. I am very confident in self, just not confident in, so I feel like I need volume. So I want to,
no, you're still looking for evidence.
Yeah. I want to make like other people, I want to do their contracts for them.
Yeah.
To build it up.
Yeah. Because you think that being able to do a contract, more contracts, is going to make you what?
Better at, oh, it's a good question. So I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? What are you seeking for? You're looking for some sort of external validation to mean like, oh, I've now reached the bar. But I will tell you right now, there's not a bar. You're chasing a bar that doesn't exist. You will get better at it, but you literally can be in the business for 10 years and something funky will happen on a contract. There's not a rule book. So you're looking for that security to help you feel better.
I am. And I guess there isn't going to be one. There is no like shining star at the end of this.
No. So because when we're looking for that external validation, we'll always be seeking, and we're always going to feel like we're lacking. So right now you're feeling like you're lacking something.
I do.
Which is experience with the contracts. Okay. So then how do we show up to our clients when we feel like we're lacking?
With the confidence that I don't feel I have. So like I said, I need those, like, I guess I have to do some soul searching and figure out how to overcome that. And what are my, personal words of advice to myself that, and maybe use the line that you just said, I have the confidence, there might be some, transactions within, or there might be some problems that arise during this transaction, but no problem is, doesn't have a solution to it. We'll be able to overcome it together. Yeah.
They don't need to know that. They don't need to know that. You need to know that for you. They don't need to know that. So I will tell you the first thing that I landed. Okay. The first thing I landed when I didn't even have my license yet. And I already started, which was so not legal. So the first thing I landed though was I had pitched myself to a builder who was doing a new development in our area. And I got myself an appointment. I'm like, hey, can I take you to lunch? I didn't know, dude. I was a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, hey, let's go. Everybody does lunch, right? Let's do lunch. I'll take you to lunch. I got myself an appointment and I worked on this guy for 2 months, pitching to him why I was the person they should hire for this development. And it took 2 months. And when he hired me, we literally, this was the funniest thing ever, but we literally walked out of the office and he's like, all excited that we're in this venture together because he just told me like, yep, you're it. You're the agent. You're hired. I had beat out people who had been selling real estate for 10, 15 years. And he said the difference maker was you were willing to do the work. You came to me and you said, these are all the things that need to happen. This is who's going to buy your houses. This is what we need for advertising. This is what I'm willing to do. And I came to him with all these solutions and ideas and value, right? Which is just what Alejandro had done when he went to the for sale by owner. Same thing. But we walk out of that office and he's like, he goes, he was a commercial builder. And he said, you'd never know I'd never built a house before. Because this was his first time building houses, residential. And I said, yeah, you'd never know I never sold a house before either. And he goes, what? And I was like, nope, haven't sold a house yet, but I sure will. And he was like, okay, game on, let's go. Right? I didn't need the experience to give me the confidence because I had the information and I knew I could figure it out. So I didn't need to go into him and say, okay, I can do all these things for you. I've never done them before, but I know that I can do them. Me telling him that would be me trying to make myself feel better. That's like trying to convince myself that even though I haven't done this, I can do it. And I'm telling him that to look for like some sort of validation, right? Okay, you don't need validation. So your thought pattern needs to just sound more like that same thing, but to yourself. Like, I know I haven't done this contract. I know there will be multiple contracts that come up that they're going to be different. They're going to be challenging. I have the resources. I have the people I can call on. I can figure it out. I can ask the questions, right? And that's that self-talk that you're talking about. It's just a thought that you're having. It sounds a lot better than I'm not good at contracts. And after I do 50 of them, I will be amazing at contracts. That creates 2 different feelings.
Right.
Is that true?
I don't have that one. I don't have that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So the feeling of I can figure it out, like, or that thought of I can figure it out creates a feeling of what?
Of empowerment, of I can do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the way you've been thinking about it doesn't create empowerment. It creates doubt.
Correct.
And then you're looking for more contracts and now you want to do everybody else's contracts so that you're not doubting yourself anymore.
Correct.
Yeah. The power we hold within our thoughts, you guys, is so freaking amazing. That's just that mindset that we talk about all the time. But learning how to actually, create some new thoughts that create different energy and feelings for you is huge. That's part of the coaching that I do, because I've realized over the years as I coach people, I can tell you all what to do all day long. I can tell Sharon to go out and do all the follow-up and all the stuff, right? But if we don't have our mindset right, if we have some sneaky little thought in there that's not serving us, we don't take action. So now you can go with that thought and take action with energy and excellence. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So glad you came today. Anybody else want to get in the hot seat today? Who's got a question? We got some good questions today.
Could you give us a few more of your high impact as far as things that you do to generate more leads?
I sure can. So here's the thing about leads. Here, let me flip this over here. Well, yeah, we'll just do it right here. Okay. So here's the thing about leads. Okay. Okay. It's like a funnel to me. Okay. Leads are like a funnel because where we get stuck in lead generation is we go into that panic mode of I need a paycheck now. So then we're trying to find like the one thing that's down here that's going to make us money, right? We're like trying to get straight to the goal. So what I teach my agents inside my academy is all of these things that we have running all at the same time so that more things shake out down here. We end up with way more of this. That's how I built my business, because I didn't just do one thing and then let that ride. I didn't just run Facebook ads, which actually I never did. But, I didn't just do one thing and then wait for that to make me money. Or I didn't just try to go spend all my time on social media to try to get that to make me money. We have to do all the things. Okay. And if that sounds overwhelming, it's not. But I will tell you, inside the funnel here, or at the top of the funnel, you're going to have things like, there's a lot of free ways to get leads, you guys. We just got 2 in the last 2 days from one of the free, and I call them free sources because there's no upfront payment. So if you go to agentleader.com under free resources, I have a top lead sources for 2023 where I go over and there's a downloadable worksheet, and it's got all the different places you need to go sign up where you can pay a referral fee, 25%, 35% on the back end. Okay, so you sign up for every single one of those. And if they're not all going to make money at the same time, and you're not going to get leads from all of them all the time. But sure enough, it's going to help continue to build your business. Okay. So there's that. We have our past clients. If you have any past clients, I'll just give you like I don't know if I'm going to call them the top because it depends on what works, but we always have our free sources. If you have any past clients, what are you doing with your past clients? I will always do my 3-2-1-12 follow-up plan. It is not complicated. It is not expensive. It is so effective. That brings business to me all the time. Inside that, you can also market to people who aren't past clients of yours too. So there's ways to get more business that way. If I'm going to sit down on a Monday and I'm going to be like, okay, how am I going to find business this week? The first thing I'm going to do is go to my search. If you don't have your buyer set up on a search yet, you need to have your buyer set up on a search. And there's some parameters and there's some tricks to the trade of that. But I'm going to go through and see who's opening my emails, who's looking at what I'm sending them. And those are the people I need to touch base with. So when we talk about nurturing people, we have to nurture them with value, right? Just like Alejandro did with that for sale by owner. Like, you have to nurture them with value. So somebody that's on a search, if I just sent them a house and let's say they opened it, the nurture looks like a text message or a phone call. Usually I just text for that. And I'll just be like, hey, I sent you this one. What did you think about it? And sometimes I'll resend it, but I'll resend it from what used to be HomeSnap. Now it's the homes.com app, which I'm not thrilled with, but I will send them the listing that I'd emailed them and say, hey, like, this looks like a good fit. Do you want to go see it? And then they'll give you some feedback that says, no, I don't like that one. No, this is what's going on. But what we tend to do is put people on a search, let them all sit there and then wait for them to call us. It doesn't work, right? Or we put them on some drip campaign of some sort that's junk. Sorry, guys. I don't do drip campaigns that are junk. I don't want junk email, neither do my clients. Right. So I'm gonna touch base with anybody who's on a search that's opening the emails and see where they're at, if there's anything that I can do for them. Agentleader.com, the top bar, I have free resources, and there should be a class that you can get for free up there that is the top 15 lead sources, I think is what it is. I redo it every year because I've got some new ones to add to it. So in January, I'm going to redo that again too. I'm going to look at my HomeBot. If I have people on, you should have people on HomeBot. If you don't, get my 3-2-1-12 follow-up plan. I'll explain the whole thing to you. But I'm going to go see who's opening the emails. How many times are they clicking? Are they interested? Just send them an email and says, hey, I saw that you got your notification about your value. Do you have any questions? How are things going? A personal email. Very simple, right? That's a follow-up. That's gonna rise the cream to the top. So that's the other thing that I do. And then, where am I going to go find people? Right now, for sale by owners and expireds. Because all the agents that don't know how to have a conversation right now with their clients, that sounds like, here's what's going on in the market. The rates are high. The houses are moving slow. So therefore, we're going to be on the market for X amount of days, or we have to be more competitive in price, or one of other things, right? Agents don't know how to have that conversation. Either they're afraid to, or they weren't taught to. So when they're not taught to have that conversation, their houses expire. their listings expire because they put it up for sale and they wait for it to sell. Anybody seen that? All the time. House goes up, it's on the market, they did a great job putting it up, and then it sits there and they don't know what to do. Because what I tell my clients when I go list a property, or if I'm pitching myself to list a property, what I actually tell them is, the listing part, that's only the beginning. I'm not just going to throw my sign in your yard. I am going to show up. This is an active process for me. So I am checking every week what our competition is doing, what else is going pending. So I know where's our price, how are we competing with everybody? Are we getting the traffic that we need? All that other stuff that happens during the listing process. But agents think they've got to the goal when they talk someone into listing with them. They get their sign in the yard. And then they just wait. They just wait. So I can ask agents all day long. It's like, do you know why your listing's not selling? What's the feedback? What's the competition doing? What does the days on market look like? Where are you at? And most of them don't know the data. Data's king. Right? So that's going to be huge. So again, that same skill that you're going to learn, that skill gets applied to when you pitch to your for sale by owners, to your expireds, mainly to those expireds when they've been on the market, off the market, and you're supposed to give them a reason why you're different than somebody else. More than just, I do great photos and I can put my sign in the yard and I have a really good sphere. I don't know what people like to tell people, but they're missing the value. So those would be some of my top things that I would do. And I would do this all day long until I have business. The thing about leads is it changes. 2 years ago, you wouldn't call for a sale by owner because they could sell the house by themselves because everything flew off the market, right? So that wasn't an avenue that I used. So that's why we have 15 plus different things in our arsenal of weapons. And sometimes we're going to up level one of them. Sometimes we're going to put a little kerosene on the fire on one of those types because it's going to work better. And then sometimes we back off it. We're not doing it and we're doing something else. So, and then always what you enjoy too. Does that help?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Okay. Who else has a question? Anybody? If anybody assigned, anybody else want to ask a coach?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So, I have a client that's 85 years old. She has lived in her home for 27 years. And I'm trying to help her she's moving to Texas from Arizona, to live with her granddaughter. And I've been friends with her granddaughter for 20 years.
Okay.
So I want to make it as easy on her grandma as possible. And I know I can tell that it's an emotional thing for her, because she's been there for a long time. Her husband passed away about 8 years ago. What is the best way for me to help her to declutter? Because we have a lot of stuff in the home, and she now has her grandson living with her who's not helping with the clutter. He's adding to it.
Okay. Unpopular opinion, I would go help pack her up.
Okay, that's what I offered. That's what I offered, was to help her do a garage sale, because she was asking about an estate sale, which that's not going to work because she's trying to go right from here to her new home in Texas. So I don't know that we'll have time for the estate sale. So that was what I had offered to her on Wednesday when I was over there, or Tuesday when I was over there, was to, she had mentioned having a garage sale. So I told her that I would help her to do that and be able to help her pack up, and also because she didn't want to take her furniture or anything. So I told her that I would list it for her and everything. She doesn't live that far from me either. So it's not, it's not a big issue or anything, but.
Yeah. I mean, and every agent's different, honestly, whether they feel comfortable with that or not. But I always serve to the needs of my clients. So yeah. I've had clients who, are in grief and they were left alone and they don't have the family support. And I will hire teenagers to come. There's always teenagers that need money that I trust. So I'll just hire teenagers for $15 an hour and have them come help too, if it's not something that I can do by myself, or if I need to have the cleaners come over. I personally, that's how I run my business. I don't go pack up everybody. It's not something I usually do, but if there aren't other choices for her, if she doesn't have the support and that's a need that needs to be filled, and maybe she doesn't have the money to pay a company to come pack her up, then I'll take some time and go over and I'll help them. And I've done that. I mean, I've done that before. So
okay. Yeah, that's what I had offered. And I'm especially because she is, you know, she's one of my friend's grandmas, and she's such a sweet lady too. So
yeah.
I just want to try to make it as easy on her and as least emotional as possible, because I can tell she's kind of having a hard time even leaving the home anyway. So
yeah. And that if that helps. So here's our balance, you guys. This is funny. Somebody just said, how much is the house? Are we asking because we're wondering
it
what
doesn't
kind of
matter to me.
okay. I'm like, are we asking that because we wonder, like, are we weighing that with how much our paycheck's going to be? Yeah, don't weigh it. And I'm going to tell you
No.
why. Okay. We don't weigh it. So that I have literally made over $500,000 off of one person in commission, over $500,000 off of one person. That one person bought a $120,000 piece of crap house. Okay. I paid to pump the septic. Like I had gone above and beyond for this person, this buyer, who I did not know was a developer. And that developer ended up hiring me for all of these other things to where I've made and will continue to make all sorts of money off of that. Okay. If I were to, that's classification of our clients. If this lady needs help, we call it real estate karma, but honestly, it will come back to you tenfold if you go help this one person with the need that they have, regardless of the paycheck.
Yeah.
And that may or may not be like everybody's method, but I am telling you right now, this is the difference between building a business full of repeat clients and referrals and just selling a house. That's the difference between those two things. Because if we are just selling a house, that would look much different, which is you tell the lady to figure it out. You're going to put the sign in the yard or sell it like it is, and she can figure it out with her, her kid and whatever. If you just leave them to figure it out and you just put the sign in the yard, it's not an above and beyond. It's just your regular transaction for me. Again, it's a regular transaction for me. But the reason why my clients, I still sell 100 houses a year, you guys, 95% referral and repeat business. I don't market. I haven't marketed for 5 years, but it's because I will go above and beyond. And then they will tell 15 other people how freaking amazing I am and that they have to call me. That's the difference when you're building a business and when you're just selling a house. And you can do it the way you want, but I don't look for leads ever. And when I teach my clients, my agents, a different method of business, it's a different, and you can totally hire someone. If you don't want to go pack it up yourself, sometimes that looks like you hire someone to go help her, or you just hire the kids to go in and pack her up. I've done that many times. Right. I mean, it can look different. I'm not saying you have to go over and do it yourself. And for some people that might be uncomfortable, but fill the need. Like these are people. And when you fill the need, you will get that back 10, 15 fold in your business. And that's a different mentality though, in how we approach our business. Right. And everybody's not going to agree with me, and that's okay. But I don't categorize my clients. Yeah. I've had, I could tell you all sorts of stories, but I 1000% believe that to be true. So, okay. That's a good question, Jill. Good question. Anybody else have a question? Or you want to argue with me? You can argue with me too. I'd love to argue. Just kidding. I'm not arguing. We don't all have to agree, and we do our businesses differently. We definitely do. I just know there's a difference. If you have not read Top of Heart, I'm going to put a plug in for Grant Muller and his book, Top of Heart. Amazing book. He also is $1 million GCI agent over in Colorado. And he came and spoke at my conference. He's coming again this next year. And if you look at the thread of how he built his business, he speaks and helps the person based on the person and their needs. It's not the same for everybody. Some deals you walk in and you don't have to be the savior, and it's a fast, easy deal, and you walk away with $40,000, right? I mean, you can make crap ton of money and have it be a really easy transaction. And some of them are a lot more painful, but it's only painful if we think it's painful. The lady I actually helped, oh, thanks, Hilda. I literally have one client, you guys, who called me. This is how much I love my clients, but she literally calls me the morning her husband passed away to tell me that her husband passed away. And my husband goes, who calls their realtor to tell them that? I was like, the person that knows that they're cared about, right? And I had just sold her a house. Like, I sold her house and helped him buy a house, but she felt like loved from me enough, right? And comfortable enough that she literally calls me, because that's her first thought. What am I going to do about the house? And so she calls me for advice. And the number of people that she has referred to me is astronomical. And I'm her executor of her will. My husband's like, who has you be your executor of the will? You're the realtor. And I'm like, I know, but I've been the contact on parent forms when they move here from out of state for the schools. I've been all sorts of things because they trust me. But here's what's so freaking awesome. When people trust you, when you build that, this is what makes your job easy. Okay. If you're wondering, how can you continue to sell 100, 120 houses in a year and not lose your ever loving mind? It's because I can do it with less effort. We say effort, because when I have a client that calls me, we've already built a relationship. Referral, like repeat business and even referral business, is so much easier than you trying to talk someone into working with you. So you bypass that whole part where you're trying to talk someone into it. The client calls me, texts me, and says, hey, I make it a life change. I need to sell my house. And I'm like, great, let me get you a price. And then I just call them I just go do some research. I don't do a formal CMA. I have no pieces of paper to give them. There's no listing packet and blah, blah, blah. I literally call them back and say, what's going on? Tell me what's up with you, right? What's happening in your life? Then I know how I can best help, what their timing is, what they need from me. I say, okay, here's our best and worst case scenario for the prices in the market right now. And they say, great, send me the paperwork. And then I type up the listing paperwork and I send it over for signatures. That's it. So does that sound a little easier to list 7 houses in a week when we don't have to convince everyone to work with us all the time? That's the difference in building a substantial business where they will come back to you. They're not using a different agent. You don't have to talk everybody into it all the time, right? It's an amazing place to be. And you can do that whether you've got 5 clients and whether you've got 15 clients or you've been in the business for 10 years and you have more clients than that. So maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but it freaking works and it makes me a crap ton of money. So works really good. If you have not seen, I guess I should tell you, planners came in. We have 2024 planners. They're 6-month planners, but they're specific to realtors. So if you need your real estate planner, this is one of my, I will always make this because I will die without it, but it does have buyers and listings in here. Besides the fact that it has some prompts for realtors specifically on your day-to-day. This is how I keep track of my clients. If you're wondering how fancy I am, this is how fancy I am. I actually talk to my clients and I write down all my notes about their listing, or if they're a buyer, I write down my information about that. It gives you all the prompts for the key information that you need from them in order to put them on a search and do the follow-up and all the good things. So they are now available at agentleaderplanner.com, but we have a limited supply. So if you need 2024 planners, that's where they're at. And thanks for coming to Ask a Coach today. It was nice to meet you guys and have some new faces on here. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you again soon.